Hey there, everybody on YouTube land. It's Lord Bear 90, finally returning with a very special Transformers video review. I'm having to be very quiet because at the time of this recording, I have just come off of work and it's very, very late at night, so I do apologize if I have to be quiet. Anyway, what you see in front of you is G1 Quickswitch. I got him a few months back on eBay for less than $60, and that was with his guns. And when I got him, he turned out to be in much better condition than I originally anticipated. So, yeah. I do apologize. I'm actually very tired right now. Anyway, as you can see, he is, he's in his tank mode, his drill tank mode. His primary colors are teal, kind of a skyish blue, and red for his guns and his drill, and white for some of his outer parts. These are going to be his robot mode feet, obviously, and that's the cockpit. Very unfortunate name considering where that actually is, but I digress. The only thing that's on him that is loose is this little section right here. This one is still fairly tight. It's loose, but it's not nearly as loose as this. This one will not stay up. It works in boat mode, which I will get to momentarily. But anyway, he has three rolling wheels. This one and these two right here. So he can roll somewhat. Not super great, but better than most. That's pretty much about all I can say for the tank mode. To get him into his boat mode, remove the guns, flip the panels all up where it looks more like this. Take this section, move it forward one click so I can have clearance. Or wait, no, I'm sorry. Leave that section alone. Turn them upside down. Fold that section down. Fold the landing gear up. I gotta use my thumbnails to pop this section open. That is still very tight. After 30 years, this is still very stiff. Flip the drill in. And last thing to do is put the guns on the top. Get him straight, and there's his boat mode. It's actually my least favorite of his modes. I'm not a big fan of the boat mode, but it's there. His primary colors don't really change, except for he has a lot more gray and a lot more white. And right here is where you can actually see his Autobot sticker, which is in much better condition than some of the others I've saw on eBay. Most of his stickers are actually in really, really good shape. Like, that's the most his Autobot symbol is actually the most worn of all of his stickers. The same with this side. This side is actually in much better condition than the other one. Anyway, like I said, there's really not much to go on about for his boat mode. He actually gains a little bit more red, but that's, of course, that's the inside of his legs, so what more is there to say? He gets a little bit of yellow for the, for the cockpit of the boat mode, but other than that, that's pretty much it. not really much to write home about. To get him to one of my personal favorite of his alt modes, flip this all the way forward, turn him all the way around, rotate these all the way forward. You don't have to rotate this section, but I prefer to, mainly so I can actually have access to these. Wrong one. One thing I've noticed is that these guns, they may be molded exactly the same, but they have a hollow spot on the underside to let you know which side goes where. This side goes over here. And it plugs in right there on that side. And this one plugs in on that side. And there's his jet mode. Or as I personally like to call it, cargo air carrier, because there's no way that a jet would even be able to get off the ground looking like this without needing a lot of extra energy, I guess you could say. A very, very large engine. Oh, I forgot to fold down the landing gear, because every jet needs landing gear. He actually rolls a lot better in jet mode than he does in tank mode, which is kind of sad and ironic. But that's because the panels from the tank mode are not dragging across the ground. To get him to my next favorite alt mode, take off the guns, flip that up for the time being. That's very stiff. Open that up, flip the drill bit back out, close that up. Rotate all of this back to where it was. Take this section, move it down one click, flip these up, and fold it all the way down. Put the guns in place, flip that back up. You don't have to do it like that, but I prefer to, because leaving it like it's supposed to be, my hand is very large compared to his gun mode. This is his gun mode. My hand is very large compared to it, so leaving what would be the trigger where it's supposed to be doesn't really leave a whole lot of room for my hand. So what I like to do is fold it out right there, because to me that looks more like the actual animation model. So yeah, that way my actual trigger finger, has more room to play around. So yeah, there's his gun mode. And to go directly to my personal favorite, my absolute favorite of his modes, flip that back, fold that in, leave the guns attached to the drill, let one fall off of said drill, rotate these to where they're facing about like that. Rotate that all the way around, flip that out, rotate that around, fold that out, unfold everything else, unconnect those or disconnect those, split them out, set them down, and finally lift up this panel and flip out the head. And here, ladies and gentlemen, is G1 Quickswitch in his Puma mode. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is Hasbro's idea of a Cybertronic Puma. A cybernetic Puma. Very boxy, very square, but he's got a very nice head sculpt. For some reason, this is my absolute favorite of all 6 of his modes. Yes, I've actually forgotten to mention that he is a 6 changer. We've already gone through 5 of his modes, starting with his tank, his boat, his jet, his gun, and then his Puma. Oh, I apologize. My back's starting to hurt. I've actually, like I said, I just got home from work, so please bear with me, guys. But like I said, for some reason, this is my absolute favorite of his 6 modes. I'm not really sure why. This is actually most people's most hated of his modes. Most people can't stand this mode. But I find a certain charm with it for some reason. Not really sure why. Anyway, last but not least, we're going to take him to his most well-known and recognizable of his modes, his robot mode. Start off by removing the guns one last time, folding the drill back in one last time, folding the head in, connect those together, flip the hands up, and rotate them a little bit just to get them out of the way. Let me adjust the camera here because he's starting to get just a teensy bit tall. It's amazing to me how after 30 years, all of his ratchet joints are still in wonderful condition. Go ahead and give him his guns. And then last but not least, whoop, face reveal. Yeah, the light on my phone's camera is too bright because, let's face it, Quickswitch's face is pretty much all yellow. The paint alone washes out any details that would be... well, there you go. You can actually see some of his face. There we go. I just have to bring him in a little bit. There you go. You can actually see some of his face. Not very much, but some. Headshot courtesy of TJ Omega. TJ, if you happen to see this, I'm sorry. But anyway, that's pretty much all I can say about G1 Quickswitch. He's a very, very interesting figure. He's actually one of my favorites from my current Generation 1 collection so far. Not including G1 6-Shot himself, who I am actually going to review next time. And another very, very special figure that I'm actually going to wait and review at a very, very much later date. So, without further ado, this is Lord Bear 90 signing off for now.